What is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today we are back in Forza Horizon 2, taking a look at the first car from the IGN car pack, which just released. This is the 2013 Aston Martin V12 Vantage S. This thing is gorgeous. It is an absolute monster. This is actually one of my favorite configurations, if not my absolute favorite configuration, of the Aston Martin Vantage, just because of the fact that it has they did a V8 Vantage S a while back, and I loved that thing. I loved the looks of it. It sounded amazing. I got a chance to hear one in person, and it's just an absolutely gorgeous car. And then they took their V12 and they dropped it in a Vantage S, and it was just like mind blown, it's a pretty incredible car. And one of the best things about it is that they give you a really, really wide range of colors to choose from. I'm probably going to stick with this orange, but let's just go through the colors, or all the colors anyway. So, we got this yellow. You know what? That yellow is actually kind of interesting. It's kind of an off yellow, almost. That brown, I wouldn't even say it's, I mean, it kind of is brown, but it's a real light brown. It's odd. Wow. That's a cool color. That's a cool color. That blue is tempting. That blue is tempting to go from the orange to the blue, but... Oh, what's the point of an interior cam if you're picking car colors? Jeez. Yes, it's got a third pedal. Yes. Yes, they brought the manual version into the game. Oh, wow. Wow, that's like a metal flake bronze. That's absolutely gorgeous. Silver is beautiful, too. Honestly, this car's pretty much gorgeous in whatever color you want to go with it in. But you know what? We're going to go with it in orange just because I think that orange really makes the car kind of pop. And wait just a second. Let me see that interior again. Am I missing something, or is there no stick? No, there's no stick. There's paddles up there, but then why are there 3 pedals? That's very odd. That's very odd, because I mean, as all of you guys know, the automated manual paddle shift version is only going to come with 2 pedals, brake and gas. If you got that third pedal over there, you're going to need a stick, and that's odd. I wonder if that was just a flaw in the animation or what. I don't know. But let's go ahead and let's not dwell on that because, I mean, frankly, it doesn't really matter. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't really affect your experience in the game. I mean, you drive how you drive. It's, it's all up to you. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple of modifications to it, a couple of light modifications, like an exhaust,
what can I do to help you?
Suspension, wheels, tires, that kind of stuff. So, well, I don't know if we're going to change the tires. We'll see. But let's see. First off, we're going to do exhaust because this thing, I'm sure it sounds good in standard form, but we're going to just open it up all the way. Brings us up to 576 horsepower. Going to go ahead and put a lightweight flywheel in there. I pretty much do that to all of my cars, just because of the fact that they rev so much quicker with a lightweight flywheel. And let's see. Go ahead and do wheels now, actually. We'll check out the tire size later, too. We probably won't change the tire size, but I do want to see what it's running. Got such a wide range of wheels to choose from, honestly. Those actually look kind of cool. But those have some dish to them. Those look really good. Those look really good. Those actually look really good, too. Those look awesome. Honestly, this thing can kind of almost pull off any style of wheel that you throw at it, almost. But you know what? Yeah, we're gonna go with these. I'm gonna change the color, but it just looks so good with the dish on those wheels. It's ridiculous. Let's see what size tires we're running in the front and the rear. In the front, we're running 255s. In the rear, we're running 295s. Okay. And as far as compound goes, oh yeah, we're already on a sport compound, so we don't want to change that. Let's see. Before we go into painting and everything like that, let's just make sure that there's nothing else in here that we could do as far as, like, appearance goes. No way we're not sticking that on the back. No way. Not on this thing. And just for future reference, yes, we can put a twin-screw supercharger on it. And we will, actually, you know what? I've just realized. Why save that for the future when we could do that, like, right now? We just do that right now. Supercharged Aston Martin V12 Vantage S. So you take, first of all, you take the lightest car that they, well, lightest production model that they make, drop their V12 in it, and then drop a supercharger on top of the V12. So I think this thing is going to be quite a bit of fun. Do a couple of other light upgrades like an intake. We did the exhaust, and I'll do an intercooler upgrade. That brings us up to just over 700 horsepower. This thing is going to be a beast. And honestly, I'm starting to think that why don't I just fully build the thing? But at the same time, I kind of want it to be, I mean, Aston Martins are they're very balanced, they're very proper cars, and they're a really proper supercar. And I feel like I kind of want to keep that balance a little bit. Even though we're bumping the power up quite a bit, I still want to keep that balance, and we will do a max power version of this car later on down the road. But in the beginning, I want to see just how it does with, I wouldn't say a mild power increase, a healthy power increase for sure, but still not going overboard with it. So let's paint the wheels, and then we're going to go and head out and see how this thing drives. Let's see, special colors. I want to make sure I get a design that can be seen, but it's got to fit with the car. And that, honestly, like, that blob desert camo, it looks cool on the wheels themselves, but it doesn't fit the car. You know what, though? That actually kind of does, because it almost doesn't look like camo in a way. It's weird, because it almost doesn't look like camo. It just looks like you've got, like, this variation of different paints on the wheel. Let's just try the digital ones real quick. And then the brass. Yeah, I mean, we could, but, oh god, the wood. Yeah, no, you know what? We're actually going to go with we're going to go with the digital snow camo polished. Just because I think it's funny because it's got this odd color variation, and even though it might not be the first choice for an orange vehicle, it's still different. It's a really different type of color. And I like the way it looks. I feel like it's not quite the normal, usual thing that you're going to see, especially on a car like this. So I feel like you would see it more maybe if you were in like a gumball rally type environment where people are putting crazy designs on their cars all over the place. You know, you got ridiculous designs on the wheels, you know, on the car. I mean, let's just put it in 7th gear and just cruise up to the road, and just before we actually see what this thing can do. Oh, it's pretty much stalled out at this point. Let's put it in 4th. There we go. Okay, it picked up a little bit in 4th. Alright, and without any further ado, redline and dump the clutch. It sounds amazing. And it's got wheel spin on demand. Whenever you want wheel spin, I mean, it is there for you immediately. And even though I've never driven the stock version of this car, I guarantee you that lightweight flywheel is making a difference. Wow! Wow, that was so close with that Ferrari back there. Oh my god. Holy crap. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that again on the recording, because that was so close to just losing points. Oh my god. Excuse me! I'm honestly really surprised that the Evo back there did not take my points. Well, that the game didn't take my points. The Evo wouldn't have taken them, but the game would have taken them away because of the Evo. Come on. That's the only thing, is that it kind of bogs down a little bit if you let the revs drop too much. And I can understand that with a high revving engine, but at the same time, it really does, you really do notice it. I mean, if you maxed out the power, you wouldn't have that issue. You would just have power and torque everywhere. But at the same time, look at how even this thing is. It's so easy to just keep it on the line you want it. We haven't really deviated from, well, except for there. But I mean, except for that spot back there, we haven't really deviated from this little drift line we have going here at all, really. I mean, it's definitely within a foot of that. It's been within a foot, give or take, until then, of that roundabout. I mean, it's ridiculous. Look at the pattern in the tire marks. They're so consistent, except for out here. But oh no, they're going away. But I mean, they are really, really consistent, except for that one that goes around the side, which honestly is a characteristic of a really, really good car. I mean, especially for drifting, you want something consistent, and this thing really does a good job of pulling that off. And we haven't even tuned it yet. We haven't even tuned the suspension or tuned anything like that. So when we get a setup on this thing, I guarantee you it's going to be mega. In fact, why don't we go ahead and try and slap a tune on it right now? Let's see. Oh, we didn't do a race gearbox, so we can forget about that. Let's bring that rear camera in just a little bit and add some in the front. And, oh crap, we forgot to upgrade the diff. The stock diff settings should be okay, but I still want to max them both out. So, we'll see. First of all, let's see if we gained, oh wow, if we gain any turn-in advantage from that extra front camber up here. Not caring about the speed zone, enter the corner. Not bad. The front end is a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit quicker to dart to the side, and honestly, that's what I was looking for, because it's just a little bit, like, the turn-in is just a little bit slow for my taste. That might be different for you guys. I mean, you can add or take away however much front camber you need to, based on your personal style, your personal technique. I personally prefer my drift cars to be a tad twitchy in the front end, so I can get them turned in really quick, and so I can also get them to react to twitch movements. But I feel like, again, that's really subjective, and it all depends on what your own personal preference is as far as suspension setups for your drift cars. And I mean, I know that this also isn't like, it wasn't made to be a drift car, but on one hand it kind of was. On one hand it kind of was, because Aston Martin was like, you know what? Let's take, like I said, let's take our lightest, our lightest car that our lightest production car, and drop a massive V12 in it. I took it a step further by saying, let's drop a supercharger on top of that V12. What do you get when you do that? Pretty much massive wheel spin, massive amounts of tire smoke, and massive amounts of fun. And an incredible soundtrack to go with it, too. Let's do some interior view. Only thing is, you don't really hear the supercharger. That's my only gripe with this car, is that you don't really hear the supercharger at all. You hear it maybe just a tiny little bit if you listen for it, but it's far from pronounced. That's for sure. You have to make a conscious effort to listen for it. And if you didn't know this thing had a supercharger on it, you would not think it was there. If you guys, like, if people didn't see me put a supercharger on this thing and then I said, oh yeah, it's supercharged, a lot of people probably wouldn't believe you, because it does not sound like it. It doesn't sound like it one bit. It really, really doesn't. So I feel like it adds to the sleeper value of the car a little bit, but at the same time, you can't really make an Aston Martin a sleeper no matter how you look at it. Even if the thing made, 2,500 horsepower, it's still, oh god. I mean, even if it made like, 2,500 horsepower, you wouldn't have a sleeper on your hands. You definitely, I mean, it's a bright orange Aston Martin with a V12 engine and a supercharger on it. That's about as far from sleeper as you can possibly get. But I really enjoy this car. I think that it was a little bit unexpected that it drifts as good as it does. I was expecting it, obviously, to be good at going sideways, but I didn't expect it to respond to this setup that well. And I really like the predictability of it, and I really like the stability of it a lot. It's the stability that really gets me about this car. And it's actually one of the reasons why I'm going to recommend it to you guys. If you're looking for a drift car, pick this thing up. Seriously, pick this thing up. It's definitely worth your credits in the game. And, well, actually, you get the first one free since it's a DLC. So, Either way, I definitely recommend giving this thing a try. And, I mean, if you don't like my setup, feel free to use mine as a base and make your own. Or don't use mine at all and make your own base and you know, just go from there. But, again, I really, really like this car. I really enjoyed drifting this car. And, oh yeah, parking game on point. But if you guys enjoyed this build and enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave me a like. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later.